Hey guys, welcome back. I am in a new state today. We drove down from Michigan bright and early this morning and got set up as first light was hitting. Got my dad set up in one spot and I came back to another spot, and already right off the bat we're off to a great start. We dove into my dad's spot, and right under where we were going to get him set up there was at least one buck, I think 2 bucks chasing a doe or two, and one was definitely a shooter. So promising to see. Kind of stinks because we lightly bumped them, like they heard us, but they didn't see us, so they kind of like just were walking away or lightly jogging away, but we caught them as they were walking away, and one was a pretty freaking good one, so that's promising. He's set up maybe 400 or 500 yards away from me, and then I dove a little further back into this piece. The last time I was in this general area, I hit 2 of the biggest deer. That would still be the biggest deer I've ever shot. So hit 2 real good ones. Neither of them were giants, but probably 130, 140 maybe. So really good deer. And unfortunately lost them both. I haven't been here in a couple of years, but like I said, the last time I was down here, it was hot and heavy. So we got a couple really good days of weather ahead of us. And we're down here in the middle of the week, so hopefully we don't have to deal with too much hunting pressure. But like I said, off to a good start. And as I was getting set up here, I already saw a doe walk through at about 75, a lone doe. So off to a good start. It's kind of a dark and dreary morning, mid-50s. Probably sit in this spot for quite a while this morning since we got in here a little late. Just kind of want to monitor everything and almost use it as an observation set to try to figure out how exactly they're working through this creek bottom. So stick around, stay tuned. It should be a fun week down here. We're going to try to get a public land buck down and get my dad on one as well. Got a buck coming in right there. He was working from that opening this way. I lost him in that thick stuff right at the edge there. He was so right in there when I last saw him. Just hit him with a grunt to see if he'll come in. He looked like he was kind of right on the edge of being a shooter. a crow flies, so he'd have to go a ways, but just so you know. Oh shoot, here's another one. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. Just stay ready. They're all over the place. That was a big one. I don't know what this one was. I didn't get glass up in time because I had my bow in my hand from the other one. It's freaking 10:30 in the morning. We'll see if this one works in. He might have heard that snort wheeze. I tried to get that first aid to come in and he was not gonna do it. But I don't know if that other one just happened to pop up right after, if he heard some of the grunting or snort wheezing. I'm gonna give it 5 minutes or so, and if nothing happens, I'm gonna rattle and see if I can't just pull one right in. Stay tuned. That was a fun set. The first hour and a half was pretty slow, but then around like 10 or 10:30, probably like 3 hours after sunrise, I saw that first buck that popped up, real big 8, super wide, really big G2s. He didn't have grade 3s, but he was really wide and like definitely would have killed him. So he kind of was coming at me at a 45. I called to try to get him to come in. He stopped and looked at me for a good 5 to 10 minutes, like really trying to figure out what I was, or trying to see if he could see a buck. And then he ended up just kind of like skirting around the outside and working away from me, kind of towards where my dad set up. He never ended up seeing him, so he must have just dumped somewhere off into that swamp or laid down for the day. But shortly after that, I was calling my dad actually, and I saw another buck pop up. I didn't get glass on him in time because he just ran through one of the holes of the swamp that I could see down into. So I don't know what that one was. And then maybe another 10 minutes later, I saw a third buck. And that was a really good 8 also. It was a really white rack and pretty wide. Nothing crazy, but like 120 inch deer, probably maybe 115. So there's quite a bit more pressure in here this year. I'm not sure if that's why those deer are getting pushed down into that swamp, because the last time I was hunting here, I didn't need to get all the way into that swamp. They would walk this hardwoods bottom, but I'm feeling really good for the upcoming hunts if I can get down in there and find a half decent tree. And I think I'm just gonna try to just get right on the edge of that swamp where that swamp meets this hardwoods bottom. So really good sign, great start, especially after being in other states and really not seeing any bucks. It's exciting to see some deer and have them within 150 yards and have some good bucks mixed in there too. So I'm gonna get down now. It's just about noon. We're gonna regroup, go scout some other spots, show my dad around some other areas, and then probably get in here nice and early. Just with how they're moving all day, I feel like I need to be sitting by like 2 or something and have a nice long sit tonight. And we'll be back in here in a couple hours. Deer right there. I'm practicing going. Looks like a good buck. Little buck. How's that for a practice draw? Little 6-point right as I'm just getting set and making sure I can shoot into all my lanes. That's awesome. Good start. Did you get him good? Oh, heck yeah, I heard him. He freaking growled. Where'd you hit him?
I think I smoked him good.
Dude, let's go.
He's probably 110.
Yeah, 110, 115 maybe. I don't know if it was that same one I saw or not. I don't think it was. He must have just worked that creek bottom, and there's no other way he would have got there. He must have heard that rattle and just ran right down that creek right between us. Just like that other one just did that we didn't see, that little one.
Right, exactly.
So right where he blew is right where I hit that one 2 years ago. I was right in the creek. Sounds good. See ya. All right, hey everybody, what a crazy morning we got here, and we were about 20-30 minutes late, and everything that could go wrong went wrong. Got to the stand. I found this little baby itty bitty tiny tree to put my climber in, and thought there's no way I'm ever going to shoot a deer without him seeing me draw and turn and move and everything else. Started out in the morning, I was putting my binocs on, and some deer on top of the ridge saw me and started blowing like crazy about 700 times before it decided to go running away. So then sitting there, Kyle starts rattling, and I think, oh, that's cool. He had seen a buck about 300 yards out, and I'm like, you know, whatever, maybe he can come by. And apparently this buck snuck through the bottom between Kyle and I, and must have saw Kyle move, and I'm sitting there and I hear right behind my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is that? So Kyle sends me a text that says shoot him, and I'm like, shoot what? Was trying to figure out where the deer was, whether it was me that he was smelling or if he was Kyle that he saw. And I turned around, and here this deer is standing looking completely the opposite way at Kyle. Before that, I thought, am I going to pass or not? And I remember Kyle's words saying, shoot him. And I grabbed my binocs, quick look, and I went, oh yeah, he's a shooter. So I got my binocs on him, put binocs away, come to full draw, and he steps behind some stuff. And I'm just sitting there probably for a minute just debating, do I shoot or don't I shoot? Do I shoot or don't I shoot? Finally, I'm like, you know what? It's not going to get any better. He's going to take off. He'd been blowing. I sent it, and he literally went, roar! And Kyle heard it, and so we found out another hunter heard it. So he goes tearing off over this way, and I thought for sure I drilled him. I thought I hit him really good. So we're sitting there probably another 20 minutes, Kyle and I talked about it, and all of a sudden we hear, and here comes a side-by-side. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This very nice elderly lady comes down with her dog and says, sir, you're hunting on my property. And I says, I don't think I am. I think I'm on the edge. And she's like, nope, you're on my property. I said, well, I'm really sorry. I thought my map program told me something different. So she came walking down by me, and all of a sudden then she went, oh, I'm really sorry. You are right. You're on state land. And I said, well, while I got you down here, I have a favor to ask. I said, I shot a buck this morning, and I need to go see if he ran over this way, and I need to go see if I can track him on your property, if that's okay. And she said, well, I'll help you. And I said, great. And she brought her dog down. Then all of a sudden a guy named Hawk comes over the hill and starts talking, and he's like, yeah, I saw you the whole time. I saw the deer before you ever saw the deer. And he was a professional hunter, must be, because he had a lot of experience. He'd hunted deer since he was 12 years old, and he was 30-something. So Hawk helped me fight and look for blood.
Meanwhile, I'm in the tree about 80 yards away, watching and listening to every word they're saying.
This whole thing. I found blood in it, and every single time I said to Hawk that I saw blood, oh yeah, I saw it. Oh yeah, I saw it. I said, Hawk, you're like Pocahontas. And so, anyhow, he went maybe, I don't know, 125 yards.
150, 175, yards. Which is crazy because that buck heard me rattle, came right up the creek bottom, and then saw me move. I'm guessing it didn't smell me. The wind was going this way. He must have seen me move, because then he kept looking back at me, but he didn't know what it was, and then he just worked right in my dad's lap. And I was like, it's a nice buck, frickin' shoot him. And then we both watched him take off all the way down this ridge, and then he got up onto two different private pieces, so he had to get permission from the elderly lady and then a second guy that it went 30 yards onto his property. So luckily we had all those people there, and we were able to get that all taken care of.
Just a total godsend. I mean, Kyle and I came down here. I didn't see a deer yesterday all day, so I was very frustrated. And I said to Kyle this morning,
there's the only way I'm going to shoot a buck is if it's a thing from God, because I was in this tree that was the size of a pie plate, and I'm not exactly a little guy, so not real easy to draw a bow back, and this thing's looking the exact opposite way, allowing me to move, draw back, and then put an arrow in.
So we didn't film any of that because my dad's new friend Hawk was around and not very happy, a little bit of jealousy there, so that kind of sucked, but we got at least a half-mile drag. At least. It's gonna suck. So
and through the nastiest crap you've ever seen in your life.
So it's gonna be a long day, but luckily we shot him early and got an awesome 2-year-old on the ground. It's just, that's why we come down here. The 2-year-olds in Michigan do not look like that. It's not a giant by any means, but it's a dang good state land buck.
State land buck, I am tickled.
After not seeing any deer yesterday.
This thing was going down, baby.
Yes, sir.
Hawk passed him twice, just in case he didn't tell you that.